Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is our first recording after a charge sheet has been filed against the former finance minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram. And to discuss about the ramifications of this, just that one single act, what it means, and what could be the fallout of that in the political arena, we have with us a very keen watcher of what happens in Delhi. He's in fact been in Delhi for many, many years. He's an economist. He's also the editor of Sunday Guardian, Professor M.D. Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you, Sri. But I must confess that I'm the editorial director of the ITV group. Sunday Guardian is part of that, and we have a very distinguished editor, Joyita Basu.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I take that back. So I stand corrected. Please continue.
No problem. Sorry, please go ahead.
Okay. So this charge sheeting of Mr. Chidambaram in the Aircel Maxis scam took a while by CBI, but it did finally happen. And now we know that there were some people who are running interference, trying to stop this thing from going forward, and that those people have been brushed aside. The CBI has shown extraordinary amount of courage, I should say, and speed with which they move to once the investigation got changed to this current person who is heading it, and within 5 months, the charge sheet has been filed. So, Professor Nalapat, why is this moment important, critical in this fight against corruption of Prime Minister Modi?
Well, I'd like to say, Sri, that my information is that there is a conscious effort by what you have called the C company, to ensure that there is chaos in the stock markets, that there is a slide in the market, that there is a fall in the value of the rupee. In other words, an economic storm will break loose because of the Chidambaram charge sheet. And they hope that this will hold the hand of the Prime Minister and prevent him from taking any further action. Because the fact is that, Chidambaram is just one link in a long chain. And that long chain comprises several retired, also serving officers, several politicians who are in power, and several politicians who are out of power. So it's a very, very long chain. And I think the fear is that should Chidambaram, for example, be called in for questioning, of course, I must say that, the Indian legal system has worked extremely well for Mr. Chidambaram. Whether day or night, he has been getting 24/7 service from the Indian legal system. But, and that may continue, that may not continue. Assuming that the CBI is really wanting to, and assuming it does succeed in getting him into custodial interrogation, assuming that they really, ensure that there is rigorous custodial interrogation, other elements of this huge snake of VVIP corruption may start emerging on the record. And once they emerge on the record, it will be difficult even for dishonest officers of the CBI. And may I point out that the CBI is one agency where an officer can become a crorepati in a matter of 24 hours. That is the power of the CBI. So the reality of the situation is, this is only the beginning. I don't think it's time for us to be triumphal about it. It's time for us to be happy about it. But what is making me happy is that finally in 2018, Prime Minister Modi seems to have taken for the first time action against a UPA era VVIP. He was talking of UPA era corruption before the election. He keeps talking about it after the election. But this is the first time something tangible is being done on that matter.
Now, Professor Nalapat, one of the people who have been named in this charge sheet was an ex-finance ministry official who is currently the chairman of National Stock Exchange, Mr. Ashok Chawla. Likewise, Mr. Ajay Shah, who has been named in one other CBI charge sheet, he continues to work at NIPFP. And I'm told that the chairman of BSE also has been named either at an FIR or on a CBI charge sheet. I don't know which one, but it is with respect to what he was doing at the IDBI. And I think my point is not that, where they are named. My point is that I'm seeing that people who are named in CBIs or in some of these investigations don't seem to want to get out of their chair, or they don't seem to want to recuse themselves or even resign and wait for this investigation to carry out. The same thing that happened with ICICI also. Chanda Kochhar is now on leave, but it took 3-4 months and sustained pressure to tell what is going on, and every day there was another 10% scam coming out. So Professor Nalapat, who should, in your opinion, be the person who should be starting to start sounding the gong, saying that, listen, once these things start happening, a following set of things have to happen also. If you're named in a particular charge sheet, then immediately, I'm saying don't even give 24 hours. That person should be immediately divested of what he's doing. And yet I don't see something like that happening. What do you think is the problem, Professor Nalapat?
Well, the problem is very clear. Those people who are corrupt, those people who are complicit, those people who are accomplices of treasonous corruption in the Indian system and who are still very influential in the Indian system, either directly or indirectly, are afraid that any of these links in the chain may become weak and may, if subjected to rigorous questioning, reveal a lot more details, which then may have to be followed up, for the simple reason that once it comes on the record, and even if you're a corrupt CBI officer, you don't follow it up, 5 years, 10 years later, your negligence will come back to bite you. As for example, the negligence of several bank officers has come back to bite them, and several of them are now cooling their heels in jail with more to follow. So the reality of situation is that the entire chain is terrified that if anybody goes in, if anybody is subject to rigorous questioning, and even if there are 5 officers, if even one is honest, and if even one asks the rigorous questions, for example, that PGurus has been asking for such a long time, well then things will come on the record. And once it comes on the record, it's very difficult to clean it up. That is why every effort is being made to ensure that these people are not inconvenienced. And secondly, that wherever possible, things are being straightened out. You know that people have been allowed to go abroad at the drop of a hat, at the drop of a feather. And when they go abroad, what do? They change names, they change their title deeds, they do all kinds of financial jugglery in London, in Zurich, in all these offshore heavens, in Dubai, all over the place, in Singapore. This is going on in plain sight as we speak, just as Nirav Modi's loot was going on in plain sight for years and years and years. And I'm told even temple jewels were the focus of attention of the Modi gang. And I was told Nirav Modi had his eye on a particularly very large temple, and he was trying to make his friends in the government get access to that temple so that they can replace the jewels with glass, as has happened to so many temples and so many private collections in India. So this is what is going on. The fear is like a pack of cards. If one card goes down, the entire pack goes down. So the entire pack is standing firm against any card going down. And this relates to Chidambaram as well. Now you have a charge sheet. Well, that's different from custodial interrogation. That's different from a prison term. That's different from a genuine full-scale investigation. Prime Minister Modi may want that. I'm sure there are a lot of people around him who have taken a lot of money and a lot of other favors from the people who are now in the snake of corruption. And they will make every effort to ensure that Prime Minister Modi will not succeed in ensuring genuine accountability. You saw the Bofors situation. Ultimately, what happened in Bofors? You saw, for example, on this P. Raja. Every one of them has now come back totally innocent, certified by a court that they're all completely innocent. You saw, Ranjit Sinha as the CBI director. Even during the NDA time, he was given a very nice run in the CBI. This gentleman said Lalu Yadav is an angel. He's not only not corrupt, the man is like Vinoba Bhave, a saint. This is the man who ran the CBI. So this is what has happened to institutions in the country. So very frankly, Sri, it'll take more than one charge sheet to make me believe that a fundamental change is taking place. Is concerned, the less said about SEBI, the better. People have been appointed to SEBI precisely to ensure that what you say takes place. And the problem which we are facing is both the banking system and the stock market in India have been so badly affected by the snake of corruption, the snake of VVIP corruption. I mean, we have, cells are being choked with pickpockets. Cells are being choked with petty thieves. Somebody takes 500 rupees from me, the man goes to jail. But you have all these people who have been looting the country of thousands of crores, and they're going all over the world. And they're going calmly and coolly all over the world even now. I mean, what kind of a crazy kind of a society is this? That you pickpockets and petty thieves have to spend time in jail, and the real people who are destroying the economy are scot-free. So this is what is happening. As far as this is concerned, Sri, the best way the Prime Minister can stop this kind of thing is to ensure accountability, is to ensure that action is taken no matter where it goes, including in his own party. I have long said the Congress is not all a collection of devils. The BJP is not all a collection of angels. There are angels and devils in both parties. And the Prime Minister needs to go after the devils not only in the Congress, but in the BJP as well. In many cases, as they are able to identify others who are responsible. The bank officials are the instruments. I would recommend making them approvers so that the chain goes higher up. And the fact is, this can be done. An organized, systematic loot has taken place in the banking system. Not only have loans been given to people who have no intention of paying them back, but a lot of these people are running around the world absolutely happy, merrily doing so. And secondly, if I may say so, we have the so-called bad debt scam, in which bad debts were transferred to private entities, and these entities were able to recover a substantial portion of that and make a handsome profit, which they would have shared with the individuals who funneled those so-called bad debts to them. There are multiple scams that have taken place, and that have taken place since, I would say, the last about 20 years in the Indian banking system, especially, if I may say so, from around 90, 98, 99 onwards. It began during the Vajpayee time, and this is the problem facing the BJP. The same problem regarding Augusta Westland. Augusta Westland is not just involving the Congress, it involves the BJP as well. And that is why I'm saying justice has to be blind. Prime Minister Modi has to be absolutely impartial between his own party and the Congress party and go after whoever's responsible. The banking scam, the stock exchange scam, these are two scams that can destroy the country, that can bring India to the level of what we are seeing today in countries that are dissolving, countries that are in meltdown. And the Prime Minister has to do it. 5 months is enough time for him to show that he can do it, that he can get on top of the situation. And if he does so, he deserves 400 seats in Parliament.
Thank you very much, Professor Nalapat.